marketing. You got a fan. You got a follower. Fantastic. All right. So Lebo Lion is an award-winning digital marketer, podcaster, pioneer, speaker, author, strategist, and she has transformed over 1,000 South African startups and SMMEs through her global top 100 iTunes podcast, charting platform, the Lebo Lion Show, known as the voice of marketing. Angikhulumi ngomuntu ongekho ula to share with us. She's in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, let's show some love. Let's put our hands together for Lebo Lion, the voice of marketing. Yes, sure.
Hello. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Sbu, thank you for that introduction. It was a beautiful introduction. And I'm really excited to be here. I thought I'd have to introduce myself, but Sbu's already done that. So let's go into it. You know, when I heard Marang speaking, I actually thought she was talking about how to show up on social media. Because all of the principles that she shared is exactly what you need to do to show up online. And when I spoke to Bulalani earlier on, he said to me, listen, Marang's going to cover the offline stuff, so your job is to cover the online stuff. And you guys know I love the online space. I think social media is probably the most powerful tool we have in our possession as entrepreneurs, as business people, as creatives, because it gives us the power to not only access markets, but to create our own narrative. And what that basically means is it gives us the power to tell our own stories. And that's a powerful thing because for a very long time, African people did not have the power, the tools, or even were afforded the opportunity to tell their own stories. And now with social media, we get to do that. And you'll understand why I'm going this way a little later in this conversation that we're going to have. And anyone who's ever been to an event where I speak, you know that I don't just stand on the stage and speak for 100 hours and I want you to watch. I want you to engage with me. So I'm going to be asking questions. I'm going to be giving you guys assignments to do during this conversation because we're not here to just sit. We're here to actually work. We're here to actually learn. We're here to collaborate and learn. So that's what we're going to be doing in our session today. Are we all ready? Are you sure? Because Lituts, you're quiet. I was about to say Litulile, but hey guys, me and my Zungrish is very bad. Are we all good? Are we ready to do this? Cool, so let me start with my story. A lot of people get very surprised when I say that I've never had to pitch to a brand to get the work that I get. And people always say to me, but I mean, if you want to work with brands, if you want your business to thrive, you need to have a pitch deck, you need to brands, etc. And I said, no, my pitch deck are my social media pages. That is all I need to get people to trust in what I have to offer, to be interested in what I have to offer, and to accelerate the process so much that we're talking about how much do you charge and are you available, instead of what do you do, tell us why, and maybe we'll think about working with you. And I did that using this thing. Even the podcast that I have, the first 3 episodes I recorded, I used my voice notes app on my phone. And from the 3rd episode, I was already monetizing. So I was by people to speak on my podcast. And people think it's a joke. I'm turning 32 in a couple of days, and literally 70% of my income comes from everything I've built on social media. I have a house, I have a car, I have investments. It sounds crazy, it sounds like those Forex scams, but it's actually, that's my life, you know? And that's why I believe in social media so much. I don't just stand here and teach it, I'm actually living the positive results of using this tool really, really well. And every time I think about social media, I think about Bill Gates, and he said, if I was down to my last penny, I'd spend it on public relations. And whenever I think about that quote, I think about him saying, or at least to me it means, he's saying, I'd spend my last penny on the things that allow me to develop, strengthen, create, and maintain my relationships with my stakeholders. And you guys know what stakeholders are now because of what Marang showed you in her presentation. So that's your customers. Those are the people who are investing in your business, your suppliers, everybody who's involved in allowing you to get to market, to speak to customer, are your stakeholders. And I think it's powerful. A lot of us don't think that way. And so when we speak to entrepreneurs at these events, what do they say? Lebo, I don't have budget for marketing. I hear that so often. And I don't have time to have social media pages. I'm trying to run a business. I want to laugh every time somebody says that to me. Because when people say that, what I'm hearing is, I don't have the time to invest, or I don't want to prioritize investing in the activities that allow me to get my product or service seen, and that allow me to be bought and purchased. So basically you're saying you're creating something, but you don't have the time to sell it. I mean, does that make sense? Doesn't make any sense, right? So why don't we have time for social media? Why don't we have time for marketing? Why don't we have a budget for it? When you start a business, that's the first thing you should be thinking about. Pouring all of your resources into creating the product and getting people to see the product so they can buy it. The rest you'll figure out a little bit later. And how does this tie into the concept of showing up or presentations? It's basically saying that social media is a tool that you can use to show up, to be seen. It's your digital pitch deck. It's your digital presentation that you use to tell the world who you are, how they can work with you, and what your vision is for the future, how you impact the communities that you serve. So it's very important for us to take these things very seriously, because if your social media pages aren't speaking to your core values, what you can offer the market, what you want from us. Marang was talking about a call to action. What do you want people to do? If your social media pages aren't saying anything or aren't speaking to that, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna be able to get those customers. You're not gonna be able to get those sales. You won't be able to achieve those objectives that you want to achieve. So I think today's presentation, or at least today's conversation, is really important if we want to be the kinds of entrepreneurs who are not gonna allow our circumstances to be barriers to success. And I wanna phrase this properly, because I know a lot of time when I say, oh, we can use our phones, people say, oh, we don't have data, oh, we don't have this, we don't have that, and it's like, choose your struggle. You know, at some point you have to choose your struggle. What is the thing that you're willing to sacrifice for and hustle for to make sure you get the thing that you need to achieve what you have to do? Really, guys, no one can help you out of that. I feel that entrepreneurs are the people who find solutions to their own problems first, before they find solutions to other people's problems. And that's why you're able to navigate through challenges. You know, that's why you can make anything happen for yourself, because you know how to create the solutions that you need. We're solution-driven creators. We are the people who make things happen. So I want us to remove that mentality of making excuses about, oh, I can't do this, or I don't have data, or my phone can't take pictures. It doesn't matter. Start where you are and make things happen. You will see things grow. I didn't have a microphone when I started my podcast. I didn't know anything about it. I used my voice notes app. I didn't know if that was gonna work. I didn't have a theme song. I had nothing. I just used what I had. And even with that little recording, I was able to get people to wanna buy into my podcast, right? So I know it sounds like I might be selling dreams a little bit, because I'm not telling you how to do it, but I'm telling you what. And I think it's important for us to just have that what conversation first, because it frames your mindset, you know? I don't just wanna stand here and say, social media, do this ABC and this will work. No, you have to understand why it's so important. Without the right mindset, we can't achieve anything, and the tools that we get are meaningless because we don't know how to use them or why we are using them. So it's important for us to have mindset first before we actually talk about the steps of how to, right? And I know here we're sitting with a lot of entrepreneurs. There's going to be a pitching session a little bit later on. So the first thing I want us to start with is this really, really cool framework that I learned. And it's called the PSSP framework. I hope you're getting ready. I hope you have your notepads, because I'm going to ask you to get into group thing. It's called the PSSP framework. And basically what that framework is you know that bio, the top part of your social media page that talks about who you are, right? That part, you all know it. Yeah. This PSSP framework, you can use it offline or online, but basically what it does for entrepreneurs who are trying to communicate their value proposition online is that it allows you to filter through the noise in your head and actually understand what to say and the key deliverables or the key points that you have to communicate to somebody so that they can actually start having a commercial conversation with you. And I think that's the one thing I forgot to mention, that the reason why Bulelani Tea are creating these kinds of, assets, and we talk about presentation skills, is because the power of showing up is the power of understanding how to maximize access, unearth all the things and activities that allow you to gain commercial value from everything that you do. And what do I mean by that? It means from any activity that you're doing concerning your business or your hustle or whatever you're doing, you can get money out of it. You can get opportunities out of it. That's the point of all of it. That's the point of this framework that I'm about to give you. Everything should, at the very end of the process, lead to you at least having a sales conversation with the person that you're trying to speak to. So this PSSP framework basically is broken up into the 4 words. P stands for problem, S stands for stat, the other S stands for solution, and the last P stands for product. I hope you're all writing this down because I don't have a presentation here. PSSP, problem, stat, solution, and product. So basically how this framework works is like this. I want you to think about when you want to talk about your product or your service to the market. So if you're selling a service, that other P will be service instead of product. But basically what we do is we say to entrepreneurs, okay, so if you're going to want to unearth commercial value out of something, you have to understand the problem that you're solving, right? So the first P talks to problem. What is the problem that your business is solving? That's what I want you to answer in that first P. Wherever you've written it down, take a minute. I want you to write down quickly. The problem that my business is solving is. I'll give you a minute. And remember, this is not a problem you think the community has. It's a real problem that people actually have. And I found with entrepreneurs quite often, they'll say, I think this is a problem. I'm like, but how do you know it's a problem? Where's the research? How do you know that this is a real problem and not a made-up problem in your head? And a lot of the time, we create products that are actually not useful because we're creating them for problems that don't exist. So we really need to think about that question very, very carefully. What is the problem that I am addressing or fixing? So that you don't waste your time and money on things that actually don't serve the communities that you want to impact. Have we all answered that question? Or do we need time? Problem? Are we good? We're good. Can we keep going? Okay. The second item is stat. Stat basically is statistic. So I want you to tell me at least 1 or 2 stats that support this problem that you say you're fixing. And you should know these stats because remember, you did your research. That's why you started this business. So at least 1. Can I? I can't hear you. So I want you to write at least 1 statistic that supports the problem that you're solving. At least 1. If you don't have 1, you're in trouble. You have to go back and do some research. When I started tweeting and when I started my podcast, I remember that my motive was that I wanted to democratize access to information because I had been a tutor at UJ, I tutored economics, I tutored business management, all these things, and then I lectured a little bit. And what I found was that people didn't have access to books, mentors, resources, and I wanted my podcast to be the platform that could give them access to that vital information. Are we done with the stat? We're good? Cool. So we have problem, stat. The second S stands for solution. So I want you to write at least 2 solutions that exist to fix this problem. Not necessarily your product, just solutions that exist in the market already to address the problem. Write it down. You guys are more well-behaved than my students. So quiet. You do what I ask. It's amazing. It's amazing. You what? You know what you want. You're focused. I like it. What are the hashtags? Hashtag join us for tea. What's the second hashtag? Together, bekele beke. I like that one. Are we done with our solutions? Great. The last P stands for product or service, depending on what you're selling. And in this part, I want you to talk about how your product or service is the solution to the problem that you've spoken about. Are we done? Is it a bit difficult to think of this? Is it hard to articulate how your product is solving the problem? Can I get yeses, no's, something? Oh, it's not hard. Okay. That means you guys are really focused and prepared. Nice. And please don't forget to tweet about this, Instagram, Facebook about this using the hashtag join us for tea, hashtag together bekele beke. Yes, don't forget. If you're not writing, let's tweet about this, let's talk about this, let's spread the word. Because once again, this is part of the showing up, right? Are we done? Is everybody done? We're good? Now, I want you to look maybe to the person on your left or your right, you can decide. And I want you to tell them what you've written down. Because this shows that you understand why your product exists, what problem it's solving, and how yours is specifically solving that problem. And then I want the person you're telling to tell you if they believe in what you're saying or not. Do they believe you, or are you just speaking nonsense? Come on, let's do it. Are we good? Have we all gotten an opportunity? Do you need more time? I'm going to give you 30 more seconds. Then we have to keep moving. Okie dokie. Let's draw it to a close. Do we have any brave couples who want to come up and share? Who wants to come up and share? Through, come. Smooth. Okay, guys, let's give Katlego a chance.
How you? Okay. Good afternoon, morning, everyone. My name is Katlego. So the problem that everyone has, well, most people have, it's a two-pronged problem. People are very busy. They don't have time, if they want to build, to go around following the process, that is getting building plans, going to the municipality and whatever that needs to be done. So that is what we help people with. And the stat is that there are about 13,000 architectural professionals in South Africa. And they are not very affordable. I'm sure we can all agree on that. So what we want to do in order to help you with that is that we have joined together with people who do construction. So we will do your plans, do the due diligence through the municipality, and when we are done, we're going to construct the house for you. How do we make it cheaper? We make it cheaper for you by offering you as a package. So that way you know that you are going to move into your dream house. You don't have to stress about it. Of course, you have to pay for it. So that is what we do. How do we start? Well, the first thing is for you to call us for a site visit. And after we have your site visit...
I want to stop you right there, Katlego.
Okay.
Thank you, first of all, for being brave enough to be the first to come up. And I think he's done a decent job. He's done a very good job. And I just want to highlight some of the things that you said that I see a lot of entrepreneurs do that actually get in the way of people giving you their attention and actually listening to what you have to say about your business, right? The first thing that entrepreneurs do is they tell us the entire story. And it's like people won't listen to the whole thing, you know, like give us one sentence, maybe two. But really, you need to know how to keep things short and sweet. Then another thing, and I think this comes with learning how to communicate, is the words that you use, guys. And that's why this exercise is so important. You need to have words that tell us about what you're actually solving or the solution that you're actually providing. So when I heard you speak about what you're offering, what I heard was convenience. I heard convenience. That's the word. That's your real offering. It's not your product or service. It's the convenience. That's what you're offering your customer.
Yes.
And that's what you guys need to start thinking. That's why this process is so important, because it allows you to see those mistakes that you're making when you're talking about your product. Remember, that bio is tiny. You can't put a whole paragraph there. You've got about 3-4 sentences. And you don't even want to clutter that.
Yeah.
So when I go on your page and I see pictures of houses or whatever, I must look on your bio and see, oh, convenience. Or turnkey solution, because that's what you guys use in your industry, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So turnkey means you do everything for me. I come to you, you're a one-stop shop, so I'm good. but I also understand that I'm going to have to pay because you're doing everything. Does that make sense? So please use the words. Do not go on and on because nobody's listening. Trust me. Our attention span is shorter than 7 seconds. Nobody's listening. So you must use the words that make people want to hear what you have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, but thank you for being brave enough to come up.
Yeah, and before I go, we sell convenience.
They sell convenience. Oh, yes. And for being brave, we've got a book from Nedbank. It's called The Nedbank Ultimate Business Companion. Congrats, good luck, and enjoy. Can we get one more person to come up who has a different business to Katlego? Oh, okay. Thank you. Hello, sir. Hi. Let's do our thing. Let's see your name. Okay. Hello, Bandile.
Hi, sis.
Okay.
This is Lion.
Do your thing. Because you already do your thing.
Oh, thank you.
Let's listen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
My name is Bandile Fihla. I don't know whether you ever heard of an antenatal. What you call
Let's do it in the framework. Do it in the framework. So I want you to say the problem that I'm solving is.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm on it.
In the framework. Don't start with a story. Kalaka, the problem I'm solving is.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
solving postnatal depression.
Okay.
How does this work? If you
No.
have
The
children,
second one is the stat. What is the statistic that supports that? What is it? Postnatal is a problem?
yes.
Postnatal
Postnatal depression is the problem. Postnatal depression is the problem. The states have a lot of baby moms that came to me for that, and then I've helped a lot, starting with my wife as well.
Okay, can I stop you there? Sorry, Bandile. I'm not putting you on the spot.
Okay.
It's just a great way for everybody to learn from the conversation that we're having, right?
You are right.
So, guys, the biggest thing with a stat is the number. You need to use numbers. Numbers quantify things. They make things credible. It shows that you understand what part of the market and how much of the market is actually suffering from the problem. So when we say stat, we actually mean you must say 25% of mothers in this area. You know, you have to use the number. Without the number, it's not a statistic. It's just a guess. And nobody invests in guesses. They invest in stats, numbers. So please use your numbers. Do you have a number?
250 each
250?
month. Each month.
In
per month.
where? What do you mean by 250?
I mean, I sell this product to 250 individuals per month.
Okay, so that wouldn't be the stat for the problem, but I hear what you're saying. So guys, please, you don't have to get this right the first time. It takes some time. You know what I mean? Because
you are right.
it takes understanding the different levels, but you're brave enough to try, and that's a very good thing. And I think it's pretty noble what you're doing with your business. So we need to find a way to communicate it within that framework. So when you are online, or when you are even doing a pitch, for example, you can say it quickly, succinctly, and hit on the things people want to hear. So what did you say you do?
I'm solving the problem of colic to the
Colic.
kids.
What is colic? I don't have kids.
Colic is the complications that you got from the newborns. When
Okay.
they cry at night, when they are constipated, when they like the what called appetite.
Yeah.
That is called colic.
Okay.
And when you go to the clinic, they can't help you. They will say the child will overcome that over 3 weeks to 3 months.
Yeah.
Then that's where I chip in. The
Okay.
products that are already there, you will think of umtwenyoni, you will think of grape water.
Yeah.
And we are few, there are less of few blacks who are on the market currently.
Okay. So what I would say if I was maybe creating my statement on my bio is we're offering relief for parents who want happy, healthy, I don't know, we're offering solutions to parents who want happy, healthy babies. You know? Yeah, a peaceful night, selling a peaceful night's sleep for new parents with newborns. You know, so that's what that problem statement helps you do. It helps you actually think about, what is it that I'm really selling? It's never the product. It's always the benefit that that customer gets from using your product. right? So because we're using your colic solution, I get to sleep as a parent. So, what?
Colic remedy.
Colic remedy. Uh, it means that I get to sleep as a parent. That's the solution. If you are making tasty food, it means that, I don't know, it depends. But there are many reasons why people buy what they buy from you. And your statement, once you've done the PSSP framework, is supposed to show you those things. Can you see how long it took us just to do that? Can you see?
Yes.
It's really not something that you just wake up one day and you decide to do. You actually have to be very strategic and intentional. Sorry, thank you, Bandile, for coming up. Can we give him a round of applause?
My pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah? What have you? Oh, there's a question. Okay. Oh, the book. Okay. Bandile, thank you for being brave enough. Nedbank is giving you this book, The Nedbank Ultimate Business Companion. Enjoy. So can you see how something so tiny, I'm telling you now, you can build all of your social media platforms just by using this PSSP framework. As in, it will highlight your entire value proposition strategy by the time you are done doing this properly. Because once you know that, for instance, you're offering convenience, what does that inform? Your content. That's why a lot of the time we say to people, you can't just show your product, like that means nothing to me. You have to show how the product helps me. So when you've already done your PSSP framework and you understand what you're actually solving, now you can say, oh, my product actually provides convenience. What does convenience look like from a content perspective? Maybe like he said, so he's offering parents a good night. So what kind of content are you going to be producing? One guess. Just give me some ideas. What kind of content would you be showing on your social media pages? Baby sleeping, yes? Mothers who are well rested. Anybody else? Come on. Content, let's think about it, because everyone was right. The people who said what they said, they were right. So you show people what they get out of using your product and service. That's the content that you create. You don't just put your product like a sneaker that we all know, whose billboards are everywhere. You don't do that. You don't do that. Show people how your product actually solves something. Okay, enough with the shade. I know I tend to be shady, but I had to do it. So guys, it's very important. You know, I know we're laughing about that little, what would you call it, side tweet that I made, but this happens to entrepreneurs all the time. And it's funny now because we're talking about it, but what does it look like in your business? It looks like not having a strong brand. It looks like sales that you want, especially for small businesses that don't have money to run huge advertising campaigns, paying celebrities to use their stuff. If you don't have that, those kinds of mistakes cost you, like severely. So you want to make sure that you're really being intentional about how you're creating this content. Content shows people the solutions that you're offering. It shows them who you are. And obviously, in your content, when you're showing people your content on social media, you are going to add your products and services. But make sure that you've got a good balance. I always say like 80-20. 80% of how you're solving the problem, 20% of the actual product. That's how you have successful social media pages. Right? It's not just, this is my product, this is my product. I know that's a very popular strategy on Twitter where people, any hashtag, they put their product. I know, but really, I don't think it's sustainable for the long term if you want to build a business. Because remember, our social media platforms are our digital pitch deck. So it means that if anyone were to put my social media pages on the screen, for example, they should be able to know what I do, who I am, how you can get a hold of me. You know, it's supposed to say that. So if you are busy using weird tactics to show your product, when I get on your pitch deck, that's all I'm going to see. And then you're going to look like a scammer. You're going to look like you're not focused because what are you doing? Today you're under hashtag girl code, buy my sneakers. The next day you're under hashtag podcast and whatever, buy my sneakers. Like, you can't do that. Yes, it looks cool, but guys, it does not work. Not for serious business people who don't have the opportunity or the luxury to just use money to fix their mistakes, right? So please be mindful of what your social media pages are communicating every single time. Every time someone opens it, they must be able to know who you are, what you do, how they can work with you, always. And if they can't, you need to fix that, iterate it over time. Another way to show up online that we don't talk about often is collaboration, right? Because remember, we're showing up online so we can unearth commercial opportunities. So part of that actually comes with collaboration. Because what collaboration looks like online, or at least let's say offline, is when you see McDonald's collaborating with Coca-Cola, right? It makes sense to you that they would collaborate with each other, right? Because you can buy Coke at McDonald's, they have the same values, family, happiness, fun, and it makes sense as a collaboration. So they both leveraging off of each other's brands, but they're also saying, this is what we stand for, this is the market that we're competing in. And anyone who wants to invest understands which markets they're playing in. And that's important. I think too many times when we think of social media, we think it's completely devoid of like being applicable to the real world. Actually, it's mirroring the real world. So it's showing you what your market looks like. It shows you what your industry looks like. And it's a great tool to test how you fit in the industry. So the collaborations, what they do is they show what you stand for, they show which industries you're in, they show which people you're competing with, they show which people you align with, what your shared values, all of those things, they matter. And when you leverage from each other, your page grows, your sales grow. Collaboration can even be in your product offering. So because I'm collaborating with these guys who do a similar thing to me and we're running a competition online, we'll offer a discount if you buy both of our products at the same time, or whatever the case may be. But you need to start collaborating with people you cannot create in a silo, because that does not work. People buy from people, and people trust word of mouth. Collaboration helps you leverage off of that credibility, the word of mouth that other brands have, right? And if other reputable brands are saying good things about you, then it means that you're offering something that is real. Because remember also, social media, a lot of people, when they look at it, they don't believe that the things they're seeing are true. So we need the social proof. Social proof is basically people vetting what you're showing online to say, don't be afraid to buy it. This thing is real. It's not a scam. It's real. So what do collaborations do? They add to that social proof, because people are talking about it, buying. Credible existing companies are saying, no, this thing is real. So we need that social proof. Does it make sense to everybody? Can anybody at least share, one person share how they've used collaboration on their social media platforms? One person? Two people. Oh, Sbu says two people. Oh, 2 minutes. I've got 2 minutes. Oh my God. Okay, let me rush this. We won't go through that. Okay. So we said collaboration. We've got our PSSP framework. What? Oh, and here's collaboration. Nedbank can join us for tea. You see what I mean? And they stand for similar things. If tea was just standing on its own, it wouldn't have the same credibility that it has now with a big bank standing next to it. It means something. And that's also going to affect how stakeholders engage with this brand. So all of these things matter. The fact that these hashtags, hashtag join us for tea, hashtag together, bekele beke, all of those things matter. They're not just baseless statements or empty words that people are using. So I think because we don't have a lot of time, and there's actually so much to come into with this whole conversation about presenting yourself online, what I'm going to recommend is you're welcome to visit my social media pages and my podcast, and I literally have podcasts about each of the things that you need to do to show up online. Listen to them, write your notes down, do the things. That's how I've been able to transform the 1,000 businesses. I didn't sit with the people and tell them how to do things. They just listened to my podcast, did the notes, sent me emails saying, I got the deal because I listened to this podcast, or I got the customers because I listened to X podcast. So please go onto those platforms, the Lebo Lion Show on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, do your thing, read that. And you can also go on my Twitter pages. I write threads every other day about this stuff. So really, there's a lot of information. And guys, I think what I want to leave you with is Google is your friend. Like, if you really don't understand something or know how to use something on social media, just Google it. You don't need Lebo Lion to tell you certain things. They're literally online. I learned them online. I didn't just become this expert to build my brand. I had to Google some things. So don't be afraid to Google. There is nothing wrong with Googling what you don't know, and keep learning. I think that's the one thing with social media. If you're not constantly learning, you're not going to make it, because it requires you to consistently be on top of things. It requires you to understand the trends. It requires you to understand how the different platforms are working. And if you're not researching, if you're not engaging with those platforms and really using them, you won't be able to be consistent and keep up with how the market is evolving. And yeah, I think most importantly, remember that social media is a powerful tool. It's a powerful marketing tool. It's a powerful PR tool because it amplifies your business. It allows you to get customers. It allows you to be seen. It allows you to engage with different stakeholders. It allows you to build brand at a fraction of the cost of what it used to be traditionally back in the day. And that's a privilege. No one here is disadvantaged when it comes to marketing and PR, because all of you have a phone and you've got enough data to download those social media apps to start building your business brand. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great day, and congratulations for being here.
Don't go, don't go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Lebo Lion, the voice of marketing. Please, round of applause, round of applause, round of applause.